Supply Chain Talk, the live webinar with no presentations, no PowerPoint, just talk.
Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever your time zone, welcome. This is Supply Chain Talk, and I am your host, Kevin Crane, sitting in for Alistair. Welcome to the show. Excuse me. Today, we are here to talk about the use of AI in supply chain management. This is an important topic because many experts predict that supply chain automation will double between now and 2028. And of course, AI is in the news and in our minds recently with the advent of generative AI tools. But frankly, we've known for a while now that artificial intelligence and its related technologies and tools can take over much of the difficult work of core processes like supply chain management, the perennial benefit being to free human workers for other perhaps more value-added activities to improve organizational performance, and so forth. But beyond the human resource considerations, it's process improvement and the boost to the bottom line that is spurring adoption. One study from McKinsey calculates that AI-enabled supply chain management has enabled adopters to improve logistics costs by 15%, inventory levels by 35%, and service levels by 65%. Another study from Research and Markets in April show AI-enabled supply chains are 67% more effective than their AI counterparts, thanks to the reduced risks and overall reduced costs. As a result, adoption is soaring. The global artificial intelligence in supply chain market is estimated to grow by over 40% per year and reach about $1.6 trillion by 2028. So look, it all makes sense to me. AI's ability to manage huge volumes of data, understand relationships, provide visibility into operations, and support better decision-making makes AI a potential game changer. So the questions become, are your supply chains ready for AI? How do you get the most out of these solutions? And what are some best practices we should consider? That's what we'll be discussing today with a great panel of guests. But before I introduce our guests and our news article for today, I do want to say that we want to hear from you too. We'd like to encourage everyone attending today to participate. So if you have a question along the way for our guests, please enter them into the Q&A feature, and that's where we'll be watching for questions. I will attempt to get some of them into the flow of the show, and we'll have a few minutes also at the end for your questions. All right, let's get to our panel of guests today, starting with Emmanuel Langlois. Emmanuel, are you with us? Emmanuel is the Vice President of Sales at Genrix Group North America. Emmanuel obtained his MBA from HEC Montreal Business School, and he previously served as an officer in the Canadian Army, where he specialized in Army logistics. Emmanuel, welcome aboard. Where are you calling in from?
Hi, Kevin. Good morning, all. I'm calling actually for Columbus, Ohio. I'm not from here. I'm from Montreal, Canada, but we were visiting a very important customer of us yesterday that has manufacturing and distribution around the Columbus area.
Nice. All right. Well, joining Emmanuel is Jonathan Sire. Jonathan, welcome aboard. Jonathan started his own software company, which he ran for 13 years, and then moved on to work as a robotics technology integrator. He's now the delivery program and product marketing manager at Genrix Group. Jonathan, welcome aboard. Where are you calling in from?
Thank you. At the same place from Dan Emmanuel. So I'm in Columbus, Ohio also, but I'm also from Montreal.
Nice. Well, thank you, Jonathan, for being with us. Also with us today is Pranav Bardwaj. Pranav is the senior manager with Deloitte's Management Consulting Group based out of Toronto. And Pranav specializes in AI and ML in supply chain operations. His career spans over 10 years across 4 different continents. Pranav, welcome aboard. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from the comfort of my home today on the east end of Toronto. I guess we've got quite the majority when it comes to Canadians today.
Nice. Well, Pranav, welcome aboard. And finally, Jose Saez de Omeneca Manzan. Jose, welcome aboard. Jose is a professional with more than 20 years experience in procurement and supply chain departments in fashion, cosmetics, and the pharmaceutical industries. He is an expert in new technologies applied to procurement and supply chain. Jose, welcome aboard. Where are you calling in from?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm in Madrid, Spain, and nice to be with all of you.
Jose, welcome aboard. All right, gentlemen, thank you all for being here. I'd like to draw our attention to a news article published just yesterday by Global Trade magazine titled AI in Supply Chain Management, Revolutionizing the Future of Logistics. And in the article, it summarizes a number of really important and key benefits of using AI in supply chain management, starting with forecasting and inventory management. It talks about how AI-driven forecasting models utilize historical data and marketing trends, other factors to predict future demand accurately. And this helps organizations optimize their inventory levels and minimize stockouts and avoid excess inventory. These improved patterns enable better planning and procurement and enhance customer satisfaction while reducing costs. So it sounds great to me. So my question to the group today is, what are some ways that this type of AI-driven forecasting and predictive analytics is helping to improve inventory management? Emmanuel, I'd like to start with you if I could today. What is your take on predictive analytics and how it's helping to improve inventory management today?
Yes, Kevin. Definitely. I mean, when you look at supply chain, most supply chain definitely have a certain level of complexity. It's also very data dependent, lots of data, lots of aspects that need to be synchronized, leveraging the data. So clearly using AI for better use of the data, cleaning the data, connecting the data, there's a lot of opportunities for AI. So this is clearly one area. Supply chain depends on data, and AI helps definitely leveraging that data.
Well, good data makes good decisions, so it only makes sense. Jonathan, what's your perspective and your experience with companies using this type of AI-driven forecasting?
Well, there are many challenges with predictive analytics and forecasting. One thing that we can think of, if I have an example that comes in mind, is for new products, for companies that have new products, which we don't have historical data at all, and we're trying to forecast how many we need to buy, how many we need to store, where do we need to store it in the warehouse. So with AI and with predictive AI, with some model, the AI can do link between products that are similar and try to generate historical data out of similarities, which usually with big database we are not able to. So the way to implement that is to make sure that the machine learning understands what are the similarities between the products and then can help us to predict stuff which we were simply not able to do in the previous world.
And Pranav, you are an analyst with Deloitte. I know I covered some statistics from research recently about the growth of AI in supply chain. Is that your experience as well? And what is your experience with the idea of predictive analytics being a major benefit for the automation of supply chain?
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. I think one of the things that I've seen over the last 10 years, and I've worked with technology vendors who are now integrating AI into their solutions, is that a lot of the supply chain is a lot about inventory and getting the inventory from the right place to the right place at the right time in the right quantity. And that is where I've seen supply chain solutions or AI, where it's been embedded in supply chain solutions, really set itself apart from your traditional supply chain solutions, because now inventory rebalancing is done in a more optimized fashion. If there are SKUs that are obsolete or excess, I'm able to actually differentiate whether it's an obsolete SKU or excess of a certain SKU. And then there are also remedial measures as to how do I take this SKU outside of my supply chain? How do I reduce my inventory more effectively? More importantly, as you are doing that, in the future, the system learns and allows you to take decisions on what should be the quantity that you should be ordering in the first place based on all the data that I saw from, let's say, 2020, 21, 22. It almost optimizes the space that you're using and generally helps much more seamless discussion, much more logic-based discussion between category managers and inventory managers.
And Jose, you've spent 20 plus years in procurement and supply chain, specifically in cosmetics, pharma, fashion, how are these organizations using predictive analytics and automation to help with their procurement and sustainability?
Yeah, this in fashion and in cosmetic is very important. The data are really important and have to be very accurate in order to avoid overstocking in the warehouse. And the IA can help this industry in order to get to have more accurate information. But as Emmanuel was saying, the data has to be the right data, because there exists a huge amount of data, but in some cases they are not linked between them, or the data are not very they are not the right data, so the information cannot or the information is not given in the right place. So it have to be a very good data in the system in order to get the information.
Okay. All right. Well, I do want to get to our discussion points today, but this article I thought was fantastic, and it does summarize some of the important benefits. One of them I do want to ask about before we move on, and that is warehouse automation and robotics. AI-driven automation technologies like robots and autonomous guided vehicles are transforming warehouse operations. Automation of repetitive tasks like picking and packing and sorting really boosts operational efficiency, reduces errors, and speeds up order fulfillment. It's the integration of these AI-powered robots that fascinates me. Where does the group see this confluence of machine learning and actual machines taking us in supply chain and inventory management? Emmanuel, will it help us with labor shortages in the warehouse and boost our
Yes,
ability to manage
definitely.
these
Yeah.
resources?
I mean, we all know, and this is not only true for North America. I mean, we have customers around the world. Labor shortage is definitely a challenge today. Finding the people to work in the warehouse, to work in the distribution center. So one way to address that is automation, and clearly there's some robots that are now available today that is definitely making operationally the warehouse more personal and working with the human. So we're not replacing all the human, we're just cohabitate human and robots. But clearly there's use of AI platform to better orchestrate all those resources, because when you don't have resources, you want to better manage them. So it's not only about putting robots in there or intelligent conveyor. Is overall, when you look at all those resources and how they work together, you need to better predict, better plan, better information in real time for better adjustment. So there's an orchestration platform that connect all those pieces together and clearly leverage AI and machine learning to improve the planning, to improve the adjustment as things occur, and being more proactive than reactive.
And Jonathan, you are a robotics technology integrator. When I think about robotics and I think about warehouse and I think about people and I think about machines, I can't help but think about workers concerned that they may be integrated out of a job by a robot. How do organizations appropriately address this concern?
Well, actually, the robots it's not replacing people. We're lacking people. So
I
basically,
see.
we since the warehouse needs to have a lot of pickers and we don't have enough pickers, then we will add people in there. And it's not about replacing all the job. We're going to add new job to take care of those robots. And one thing also that I wanted to discuss about is the robot evolution with the AI. If you take, for example, AGVs, not 10 years ago, they were all stuck into one single lane and always going on using the same path. And we are simply making them better and better, since the AMRs, for instance, they are able with their intelligence to go around obstacles, and it makes them even more efficient. So since those robots are more and more efficient, it's making the life of the people easier inside of the warehouse. So it brings the adoption of that and the social acceptance of having robots into warehouse is getting more and more common sense to people.
Nice. All right, gentlemen, we do have some questions coming in, and I do want to give priority to questions coming in from our folks attending today. This one for Pranav from Eshwarth. Eshwarth, thank you for your question today. He is asking, Pranav, how AI helps an organization where the historical data is unavailable. Surprisingly, in the airline industry, also historical data is not available in such a scenario. What do we do about that, Pranav?
I mean, first of all, airline industry is probably one of the toughest industries to exist in. They have a saying that the fastest way to become a millionaire is to be a billionaire and invest in an airline company. That's how hard that space is. And Eshwar, you're correct. A lot of the systems that these airlines are working on are probably 30, 40 years old, as we found out just at the beginning of this year, where we had a bit of a meltdown in North America, especially during the Christmas time. The best thing that can be done in this case is to look at publicly available sources. At any given point of time, pretty much anybody right now on the planet can access to where is an airplane in terms of its trajectory anywhere across the world. And that's not only true for airplanes, but also for shipping routes. You can actually get access to the data which tells you where a certain plane was. And these public directories do have enough historical data that can then allow you to develop predictive or prescriptive analytics. If you were to go and buy a plane right now, or a private jet, one of the things the company selling you the private jet, they'll actually show you the historical record of winds that have been traveling across the world east to west, and they can actually map out that even though the maximum distance you're going to travel is London to New York, you're better off carrying some extra fuel because wind will be in a certain direction and you'll be either traveling against or with the wind. So publicly available data sources are your second best bet. There are historical data as well with different airlines. The quality of that data will obviously differ. Some of it is usable, some of it is not. And as AI progresses more, there will be an opportunity to loop in structured and unstructured data, both from, let's say, weather outlets and also from fuel prices. If you're hearing something like that, that might help you schedule your flights better, or at a time where you're expecting to use lower fuel. So that I think is the best way out right now in the airline industry.
All right, very good. More questions coming in. Thank you, everyone. Keep them coming. This one from Namandi. Hope I'm saying that right. Namandi, thank you. Namandi asks, in reality, is AI in SCM just another added layer of complexity in a function that already has established processes and ways of working? Does it actually bring efficiency, or does it just mean more work is needed to define the outputs of AI or to enrich the AI data? That's a good question. Jose, what are your thoughts on that? Are you with us, Jose?
Yeah, and sorry, I was.
Yeah, is it just another added layer of complexity, or is more work really needed to define the outputs of AI or enrich the AI data?
The data is very important, and as I told you previously, it has to be very clear, the data, and as well because for example in demand and forecasting, when we apply the IA, in some cases the results that the tool gave us this was not as expected. So you have to train the model. You have to give as much information as possible in order to get the good results, and as well to the retro, the retro feedback with the tool in order to get all this information.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
If I can add to this, Kevin, and that was a very, very interesting question, because everybody's talking about AI, but then sometimes it means like, what do I do Monday morning? Where do I start? Okay. And people see this as big thing, complex thing, and it's not. And I'll give you an example of a customer of us that decided to use AI to actually help in the order entry. They receive orders from thousands of customers in different formats. Could be an email, could be an EDI message, could be a fax. And they use AI to actually analyze all this inbound information to better make the information better, reconcile the information. Our part number, this customer part number means this and that, validate the quantity, validate the history. By the time that the orders makes it to the ERP, they're just better data. They've been cleaned, okay? Today, they have 22 people that does this. They started this AI process a few months ago. The machine learning makes it month after month better. They expect that within a year, they will only need 2 people in that department instead of 22. And with better data, less error, better customer service. Okay. So yes, it's a little bit of work, but the gain or the benefits could be achieved quickly. And it's not that as big of a project. It's not $1 million. Small, improve, learn, do other things better. Okay. So that's an example that I think answered this question.
Okay,
Maybe
well,
one thing also that is important is to find the right skilled professional, the right data scientist, and get surrounded by the right people. Maybe the challenge at first is that, but like Emmanuel said, let's start one project at a time and let's do it, you know.
Well, we're hovering around another really important point, and it's sort of the confluence of having a skills shortage and then having a need for workers that are literate in the new digital world, and training your team to optimize the use of AI. Seems to me I have a skills shortage, but I need folks that are highly skilled in digital systems, and there may be this gap there. So Jonathan, how do we best address that gap of having skills shortage, and perhaps the folks that I have maybe needing to come up to speed on their digital literacy?
The idea is to get surrounded by the right people and find the right provider. So there are people out there that are data specialists, that are skilled professional, that they are AI expert. You really need to get surrounded by those people to start any project, and that's maybe one of the first challenge people will face. Did I understand the question correctly?
Yes, I do believe so. Yes,
Okay.
I'm just concerned about the practical application of this. I have a skills shortage. I want to automate. To automate, I need folks that are literate in the new systems, and I may not have that, or I may need specialized sorts of resources. Jose, what's your experience in organizations bridging this gap?
Yeah, it's as they say, it's started one project every time, because it's consuming time and as well the resources, the people that you have in the company. So it's because this kind of project is taking at least 1 year, from 1 year to and more time. And what you need is the resources and the as Jonathan said, the right people and the tools in order to have this the information, and as well as have the results of the company, because you have to as well convince to the managers that this technology is going to work and is going to give more than they are, that the effort that is needed at the beginning.
So, Emmanuel, it seems to me that getting the most out of these solutions for things like order orchestration, inventory management is not simply a matter of just the technology. Companies also need to take some organizational steps to capture the full value of AI. What's your advice?
Sorry, Kevin, it cuts a bit. Can you repeat your question?
Sure, you bet. Yeah, I guess I'm hinting at
Sorry about that.
Getting the most out of these systems for order orchestration, inventory management, supply chain optimization. it's about the technology for sure, but it's also about how the company operates. And there are some organizational steps that are needed to take on from the organizational side to get the full value of AI. What's your advice?
Let's take an example. When in 95 we started to talk about the web and website and web transaction, and I mean, there's position like a webmaster or SEO specialist. They didn't exist, okay? And you rely on pretty much knowledge of some specialists organization that were at this knowledge. Today, I mean, they're part of our day-to-day life. They're part of our organization. We have a webmaster, we have an SEO specialist. So same thing with AI. You know, when Jonathan mentioned a data specialist, or what was the name that you use, data architect, I mean, we should not be scared by those titles. Those people, there are people out there that have those skill sets. There are things that people learn today in university and IT program. I mean, AI has been there for a while. We're starting to see more usage, but and you need to start learning, and you need to start building with outside help and inside skills, a practice around that. Like the same way that we all today manage website, web transaction, web orders, and SEO optimization. They're part of our life today. 20 years ago, we were still like, oh, wow, what is that?
Right.
That will also lead to change management and organizational culture. Implementing AI technology, it will require significant change in process, job roles, and workflow, and people have to get ready for that also.
All right, let's move on to our next discussion point today, and that's using AI to review large numbers of suppliers to manage those resources and potentially identify irregularities and fraud. Pranav, I remember the term big data. Remember that one? To me, it's kind of getting back to big data. Crunching that big data really make a difference. Pranav, what's your experience using AI to review large numbers of suppliers and some of the advantages that can be found there?
Yeah, Kevin, I guess one of the biggest reasons why we use AI today is because, as you mentioned, some of the data that we're looking at, your traditional Excel platforms would just not be able to crunch them. And a lot of the ERPs that came after Excel also wouldn't be able to handle that kind of data in that specific time frame. When it comes to managing a large number of suppliers, and I'll tell you where the industry is looking at right now is sustainability and emissions.
Okay.
It's only a matter of time till governments start mandating that you need to tell your consumer what are your scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions. And you'd rather do that proactively, work with all of your suppliers and help them track it if you're a large corporation, rather than be pushed against the wall. And then what do? Let's say you have 3 very large suppliers you've been working with, and all of a sudden you can't work with 2 of them because they are not able to provide you that information. So I think AI is helping a lot, not only drive value, which we do as consultants all the time, but also help adhere to compliance and risk or regulatory risk frameworks that might arise by working with suppliers that are in geographical locations where you don't really have a lot of control about on how they work and whether they're ethical or not, and whether they're polluting the environment beyond a certain range or not. So that is where I think AI really helps provide insights and powerful insights that can help drive decisions that might eventually make or break the future of a company.
And Jose, what about using large numbers and AI to help identify irregularities or fraud?
They can be used in order to in order to get the fraud, and as well they can help in all the process. If, for example, using IA and as well the blockchains, with this information that given by the supplier, the goods can be tracked until the delivery to the client, and as well this end-to-end supply chains can be more clarified, can be more clear in order to avoid fraud, and as well help to the custom clearance and help to the countries, the goods that are going out from one country and entering to other country.
All right. We are here today with Jose Saez de Omeneca Monzon, Pranav Bardwaj, Jonathan Sire, and Emmanuel Langlois. If you have a question for our group today, please go ahead and enter that into the Q&A feature. We'll try to get as many questions in our session today as we can. And gentlemen, I would like to move to some of our questions today. We are getting a fair amount, and thank you everyone for your participation. Let's see, I'll just try to get to them in somewhat order of them coming in. This one coming from Rachel, and I'll put this out to the entire group. Rachel asks, where would you suggest starting when looking to bring in AI for forecasting? Do you have AI-based forecasting projection software recommendations? What are in the cosmetics or pharmaceutical industries and service over 100 companies? I'm a little lost there, Rachel, but the question is, where do we suggest when starting to look to bring in AI for forecasting? Are there some software solutions that we might suggest? Anyone?
So I can, Kevin, I can take that on. I used to work for a company called JDA Software, which then rebranded itself as Blue Yonder. And essentially, if you talk about supply chain planning software, they are the Google or the Amazon of that world. And that's the answer as well. The first answer is that if you're looking to get AI best of breed solutions, the likes of Blue Yonder are doing a lot of work. They've been doing work in supply chain AI for the last 5 or 6 years. And there are a lot of offshoots of Blue Yonder, JDA itself. A lot of companies who started off from a bunch of people that left the firm and spawned their own. One of the things that we do at Deloitte is also develop custom AI softwares for supply chain. And I've always believed that the benefit of doing that is that instead of getting a black box kind of software, which you generally get with the large software providers, working with someone who knows what they're doing and developing a bespoke software actually allows you to take the ownership of that software going forward and also make necessary changes in the code as and when required. So it's an answer that leadership would have to take, whether they want to go with off-the-shelf solution that's tried and tested but is going to cost a lot of money, or you go down the custom bespoke route where you're pretty much committing to then also starting an AI group internally because you'll have to manage that solution going forward. And pretty much all the big names that operate in supply chain domain are capable of taking a client through that journey.
All right, very good. This next question coming in from Paul Lopez. What are some key indicators or patterns that AI algorithms can identify fraud in supply chains? We asked a little bit about this, but I think it's an important topic. Anyone have some suggestions for some key indicators or patterns that algorithms can identify fraud in supply chains? Anyone?
I can go after that. So there are a couple of ways of doing it. Generally, any substance would have a microscopic structure which is pretty innate to itself. So let's say if you get honey from New Zealand versus you're getting honey from probably Mexico or Nepal, they're going to look slightly different. One way of doing it is just using image scanning solutions, using computer vision algorithms. You just need to have a camera that can take microscopic pictures and based on what your benchmark of the honey is, if there's a specific type of honey being generated by a specific type of bee that's ingesting a specific type of nectar, the properties are going to be different. So that's number one. And the second one, I think it's less of an AI play and more of a blockchain play where you through distributed ledger systems, you can actually figure out whether the country of origin matches with the transportation system through which this honey entered your supply chain.
All right, very good. Another question coming in from Eshwar. Thank you so much. And this one Eshwar asks, what is the right time for a supply chain to adopt AI with reference to non-profit organizations such as military and hospitals? In a business case, you have a business case, but here in this case, Emmanuel, you served as an Army logistics expert. What is your take on this?
I mean, there's already a use of AI in a lot of nonprofit organization. Now, how do you start adopting? I think AI is not a project; it's a journey. Okay? So again, it's a mindset. It's building a team that has enough skills, or also leveraging some help from outside, and start identifying areas where there's potential improvement. We talked a lot about better use of the data, better quality of the data. Okay, so anywhere where there's data, there's a potential for a better improvement of use of that data, or better opportunity to improve the quality of that data. There's AI software example that do data cleaning. Okay, and as they learn, they do better data cleaning. Okay, everywhere you have a person that you rely on because of this 25 years of experience dealing with those type of problems of issue. Oh, you have this type of problem, go see Bob. Bob will tell you what to do with it. Okay, you can eventually replace Bob by a machine learning AI type of, and feed it with information that Bob knows, and build on it and learn and make the machine better and better over time. Okay, so there's a lot of opportunities. It's not one project, it's just a journey, and building the tools, the people, and the skills to being on a continuous improvement, and identifying the next opportunity every time.
All right, very good. All right, I'll try to get to one more question in the time that we have left. If we have not gotten to your question, I apologize. But here is one from Hussein, and he asks, could you give cases of real business value that one has achieved? In other words, what's one example of an organization that you feel has been particularly successful in using these techniques? What did they do, and what were the results? Anyone here have a good case for us that you think demonstrates the benefits that we've been talking about today? Pranav, Jose, anyone?
I guess I can go back. I can go back to one of my older examples when AI was still new, predominantly because my current examples are confidential and will have to remain such. One of the things that an American retailer worked on using AI was just using unstructured data. So instead of using your traditional path of historical data or input signals from stores, they started listening to Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook feeds to see who's a celebrity that was trending that particular day. And if there was a specific dress that matched their catalog, they sort of knew that there was going to be a spike in sales of that dress. So they would, figure out ways of either getting the dress to that specific demographic cluster where they expected the dress to sell, or they would put those dresses on back order very quick. This was fast fashion, so they could put an order and get a dress delivered in the next 1 week to the United States. So that, I think, in the fashion industry, they started doing it really well, where, or rather, they adopted it very early. I don't think anybody is doing really well right now, but they adopted it very early, where through various structured and unstructured demand signals, they were able to predict which dress will be used or which dress will sell more this week or next week based on which celebrity is wearing it.
Again, good data equals good decisions.
Yeah, and another good example, and we have customers that today start using AI for better inventory level management. They have a network of distribution center, could be a factory distribution center, could be a regional distribution center. They have different channel also, retailer, direct to consumer. And by using this and make sure that they have the right thing at the right place at the right time and with the most efficient way in terms of transportation, in terms of last mile. Okay, they start using this, and then right away it's millions of dollars you can save.
Mhm.
Millions. Okay.
Another use case is taking also advantage of natural language conversational bot like ChatGPT that you can connect this type of discussion engine to data. We saw at the latest Gartner conference group a company which was able to connect a conversational bot like this to data, so they were able to say, where is truck number 43? And then the system was able to do it. And by asking question, they were even able to link trigger to this conversational robot, which could actually trigger real stuff like creating a sell order or canceling an order or trigger a shipment or stuff like that. And we can leverage this type of technology also. So it brings value.
All right.
Another case could be Inditex, that is the father of Zara. This is the fashion Spanish group that they use in optimization of supply chains and the inventory and the demand and forecasting. So that can be a good example as well.
All right, gentlemen, we're almost out of time, but before I let you go, I like to ask everyone for one quick action item that our listeners can do to take advantage of the ideas and advice today. I'd like to start with you, Jose. Just a quick action item. What is your action item for our audience today?
I think the best, as Emmanuel was saying, is IA is a journey. You have to start with little by little, and you have to see how this is improving the different areas where you are applying IA. And after that, it's involving more people in this, in all the development, internal stakeholder and external stakeholder, in order to get this benefit.
Nice. Pranav, 60 seconds. What's your action item for us today?
Yeah, absolutely. Express yourself. If you see there's need for AI somewhere in your business, go and talk to someone who can make it happen or is involved in it. Our global leader for supply chain, Jim Kilpatrick, mentioned yesterday that AI in supply chain is just going to be that. It's going to be supply chain 5 years from now. No one's going to say that it's AI in supply chain, but it will be one of the most important facets that will be innately embedded in supply chain. So go have a discussion, find people who are interested in the topic, and AI is the internet of this generation. So it's happening, and you want to be part of the process.
And Jonathan, what's one quick action item we can use to take advantage of the ideas and advice today?
I think is to read and learn about it. Gartner says in the top trends of the year that two things are linked to AI. So one, which is actionable AI and smart operations. And if those things doesn't ring any bell to you, go read on the internet. There's a tons of article, and it can lead to you to understand and to know where to start. Another thing that is also interesting is the intelligent document processing. We spoke about cleaning data and all those topics. One thing that caught my attention is robotic process automation. It's basically machine learning that is able to view a user using a GUI, a graphic user interface, and learn and be able to automate redundant operation. I think this is something that can be integrated to make people save time. So again, read, learn, and check the trends.
All right, very good. And Emmanuel, one last time, one quick action item for us.
Like I said, and when I talk to my customer, everybody is interested by AI. I mean, it's making the news every day. And you look at big companies like Microsoft, ChatGPT, Google. It's happening right now. Okay, but it can be intimidating. Okay, because it's like so big with so many potential use. I will recommend again, and that's pretty much what Jose said. Start small or start quick. Start now. Okay? Pick a little thing, a little pain point, or a little place where you see benefits and start learning. Start to build the skills. Learn and then go to the next idea. Okay? It's a journey. It's not only a project.
Very good. That is Emmanuel Langlois, Jonathan Sire, Pranav Bardwaj, and Jose Saez de Omaneka Monzon. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. What a great panel today. Your perspectives and advice were spot on, so thank you so much. I hope that we get a chance to talk again soon. And to everyone joining us today, thank you very much. Join Supply Chain Talk again next time when Alistair returns as host. But today it's been my sincere pleasure stepping in. I hope I'll be back again with you soon. In the meantime, if you'd like to find me, you can do so on LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect there. Check me out. I'm Kevin Crane. And check out my weekly audio podcast, Everyday MBA. And that'll do it for this episode of Supply Chain Talk. Thanks, everyone, for watching.